with some nomenclature first. So a solute is the solid that goes into a solution, and the solvent is the liquid that basically dissolves the solute. And what you've got at the end of that, all of that together, makes a solution. Solutions are different from suspensions by the fact that they completely dissolve the solute in the solvent. So it's transparent, it may be colored, but you can see through it. Okay, so that's one thing. Get rid of that again. And let's look at something like, for example, vinegar. So vinegar is a solution of acetic acid, and acetic acid has a molar mass of 60 grams per mole. And normally vinegar is about 5%. So we can work out how much vinegar there is in 1 liter of water. So if it's 5%, then 1 liter of water, the 5% refers to the mass that would be in 1 liter of water. So let's say that the mass of water is near enough a kilogram per liter. So 95% of my mass is 1 kilogram of water, and then the rest of the 5% of the mass is the acetic acid. And I'm doing it by ratios, and that is one of the ways that you are supposed to do it. So how do I get from 95 to 5%? Well, I divide by 95, and then that gets me down to 1%, and then I can times it by 5 to get me to 5%. So if I do that, divide by 95, and then times it by 5, gives me 0.05, let's call it 3. I've rounded there after that number, kilograms. So if I times that by 1,000, that will be that in grams, and it's about 52 grams. What you're assuming here is you take these 53 grams and you put that in the water, and what happens to that 53 grams? And what happens to the water? Well, the acetic acid will dissolve, it will disappear from view. It's a white powder that will become transparent in the solution, while at the same time the volume of the water won't change very much. So it'll still be a liter. Okay? If we, on the other hand, had an expansion of the water because we dissolved something in it, then that might change things. But unless you're specifically told that the volume changes, that would be quite an involved problem. Let's do another quick example. Let's say you want to make a 20% brine solution, which is sodium chloride or table salt dissolved in water. And all you have to do is really make sure that the fifth of your mass, of your total mass at the end, is sodium chloride. So how do you do that? Well, if you have 1,000 grams of a solution, and you know that's out of the 1,000 grams, that's 100% of your solution. 20% should be sodium chloride. Then you just need to calculate what that is in terms of the grams. So you divide 100 by 100 and times it by 20. So you do the same on the left-hand side, 100 times it by 20. And what, of course, you get is 200 on the left-hand side. So you've got 200 grams of sodium chloride, and you add that so that it makes 1,000 grams, because that's 100% of what we want. So 200 grams of sodium chloride to 800 grams of water, and that gives me my brine solution. and that gives me 1,000 grams of the brine solution. So that is that really 20%? Well, if 1,000, no, it's not kilograms, it's grams. If 1,000 grams is 100%, then obviously 200 grams of that would be 20%. So I think that way around, you don't even need to do the maths, but you could do divided by 100 times by 20 divided by 100 times by 20, which is exactly what we did in order to get there in the first place. Now, what you're assuming is that the volume doesn't change, so the volume doesn't increase with dissolving the sodium chloride in it. And if you're told that it does, then you have to account for that. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Please like and subscribe and let me know of any questions you'd like me to cover in the comments.